So here's the question, guys. Am I ready to retire? That's the question. That's the big question that we all ask ourselves, and we need to be asking ourselves. That's the question I'm asking myself. And I'm going to give you 7 questions on this video to help you answer the question whether or not you're ready to retire or not. Let's jump right into it. The very first question is this: what kind of lifestyle do I want to live during my retirement? Now, do I want to jet set and vacation 5 or 6 times a year? Or do I want to vacation home somewhere? Or do I just want to travel 1 time a year? Do I want to live ultra comfortably or do I not? How do you want to live during your retirement? That's a key question that you have to ask yourself to answer the question, can I retire now or can I retire early, right? Because most people, they don't even think about how they want to live in retirement, whether that's at 45 years old or 65 years old. You've got to ask yourself that one question. Now, the second question you got to ask yourself is the obvious, right? How much money do I need to retire in order to afford the lifestyle that I want when I retire? Guys, you got to know, what does it take to fund that type of lifestyle, right? Is it going to be $7,000 a month? Is it going to be $2,500 a month? So after you figure out the lifestyle you want to live, then you got to figure out how much money I need to live that lifestyle, because you got to have that money if you plan to retire. And for me personally, guys, I'm trying to figure that out on a monthly basis, right? So how much money do I need every single month to live the lifestyle that I want to live in retirement? That means figuring out the monthly expenses that I expect to have. And all of these are just, right, projections, right? Because you don't know exactly, right? But you are planning for the future. You're trying to at least come up with organize your thoughts and your money and everything on paper so you can think about this more deeply. Because, hey, all of us want to retire early, right? We don't want to wait till we're 70 years old, 65, 67, whatever. We don't want to wait that late to retire. Some of us want to retire at 40 and 45 and 35 and 55, right? So again, after you figure out what kind of lifestyle you want to live, and then you figure out how much money you need on a monthly basis to live that lifestyle, then we go to number 3. The third question that you should ask yourself if you want to potentially retire early is, what do I expect my monthly expenses to be at retirement? And I mean, be specific here, guys. I mean, be as close to specific as you can, looking at your current expenses on a monthly basis and whether or not you plan to increase that or even decrease that once you retire. You need to be saying, hey, if I want to retire early, what are my monthly expenses going to be? What am I going to be paying monthly for rent? What am I going to be paying about monthly for food? And we know these things are going to change because there's obviously inflation. And if you want to be specific, you can take all your numbers and increase them by about 2 or 3% per year up until the time you expect to retire. If you plan to retire in 10 years, take your monthly food budget right now, multiply it by 2%, multiply that by 3%, multiply that by 2%, up to 10 years, and you can figure out about what you're going to be paying for food in 10 years. Or maybe it's 5 years or 3 years, but the exercise is the same, right? Or you could take your total monthly expenses right now and multiply them by 2% or 3% per year to get to where you would be in 10 years or what have you, however long you plan to be before you retire. So this is an exercise, guys, that if you want to retire early, you've got to figure that out. Expenses matter. Now, number 4 is, what sources of income will I have at retirement? Right? So projecting down the road, you may have Social Security, you may not. We don't know if it's going to be there or not, but you paid into it, so you can project and say, hey, I think I'm going to have Social Security. Am I going to have some type of pension from my job? Do I have a 401k that I can withdraw from and pay taxes on it after I retire? Or do I have a Roth IRA where I won't pay any taxes when I retire, but I do want to withdraw a certain amount of that money every single month? You've got to begin to figure out what sources of income are you going to have at your disposal when you retire. So we already got your expenses out the way. Now you got to figure out where the money's coming from that's going to help you sustain yourself and actually pay your bills when you retire, and buy your food when you retire, and pay for your electricity when you retire, and pay for water when you retire, and maybe even to fund a vacation or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, right? You've got to begin to put together where my sources of income are coming from. And I would do it on paper, guys. Everything I'm telling you, you want to actually write it out. Do it on paper so you can actually see the numbers right in your face, guys. Now, the 5th question that you want to ask yourself to determine whether or not you can retire early is, what do I project my health to be? Right? Do you expect to be in good health? Do you expect that, you've had some health problems right now and you anticipate that those health problems are going to continue and cost you money down the road? And we don't know this for sure, right? We don't know exactly what your health is going to be or my health is going to be in 5 or 10 or 20 years. We don't have a clue, right? But the point is, guys, you have an idea of whether or not you have a family history, you don't have a family history. And so think about that when you're thinking about, can you retire? Now, number six is, do you have a need to pay for long-term care insurance, right? Do you have enough money? Do you have $1 million or $2 million or $3 million where you don't need long-term insurance? Or do you potentially see yourself needing that insurance and paying for that insurance? Another expense if you decide to, but it's something to consider if you plan to retire early. Now, number 7 is, what can I do today to increase my money tomorrow? What can I do right now to make sure I have more income down the road when I actually do retire? Perhaps that means putting more money towards your retirement account. Maybe it means putting more money in your 401k at your job or your 403b. Whatever it may be, guys, you have to figure out whether or not you can retire early. Is going to depend on how much money you have down the road. What can you be doing right now to actually reach the goal of retiring early? You got to ask yourself that huge question, because income matters when you get older. So be thinking about how you can increase your income right now so that it can go towards your retirement. You can put more money towards your 401k at your job, or you can put more money towards your traditional IRA or your Roth IRA or your regular brokerage account, wherever you're saving money that you expect to grow. And when you're doing that, guys, don't be overly conservative with your future self. Don't be too conservative and say, you know what, my 401k at my job, I'm only going to put 3% towards that. Hey, do what you can to stretch now so that you'll have more money down the road. Go ahead and put that 7%, that 10, that 15 or 20%. Go ahead and max out what you can contribute to your job's retirement, whatever it may be, guys. But go the extra mile so that down the road, you'll have more money. Hey, it's everybody's goal to retire early. I know it's my goal as well, guys. But guess what? Sometimes we're not ready to retire when we want to retire, right? So we've got to do some pre-planning ahead of time, 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Be thinking about retirement so that we can have everything in order so that maybe we can retire early. So, hey, guys, that's the 7 questions that you need to be asking yourself to determine whether or not you can retire early or whether you can't, whether you're just not ready for it. Hey, smash the like button. Please consider subscribing if you're not already a subscriber. And check out a few of the other videos I'm going to put here above me for more on retirement. Hey, guys, the best person to take care of the old you is the young you today. Take care of yourself and always take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.